Okay, so look, there's this thing called the XTEINK X3, X4. I have both, and this is like one of those pieces of tech that comes around every once in a while that's like really cool and really simple and really helpful, and it's just like the golden intersection between like nice to have, affordable, helpful, you know? Like, I know a lot of you on this channel, including myself, like, we like tech that helps improve our lives and looks good while doing so, right? Like, that's our whole tagline here, form and function. This is like just so cool. Okay, enough like exposition or whatever you want to, I don't even know what you'd call that, but I have a few things on the desk here. One is my phone, my iPhone 17 Pro. I've got the MOFT wallet, which is this like origami wallet here. We'll get to that in a second. And then I have two devices. Let's get back to these in just a minute. Set those aside for now. This is the XTEINK X4, and this is the X3. Let's get something out of the way. This is smaller and newer, and in my opinion, better, but it's the 3, and this is bigger and older and still freaking awesome. We'll get to it in just a second, but it's the 4. A little bit confusing. So you can see I've been reading. What is this? You might not even know what this is. It's all over the internet, so I'm assuming that you do. Let's not assume things. It's an e-reader. It's like a Kindle. I probably shouldn't say that name in this video, but it's an e-reader. Like, you can read books on this, and that's about it. That's pretty much what this does. What's exciting is, more than anything, I think it's between 60, 70, maybe 80 bucks. I'm assuming you can catch it on a deal. You can buy them on Amazon. I'm sure you can buy them elsewhere. Affordable. And I think the main selling point here, this video is going to be all over the place. What I want you to know is, links will be in the description if you want to pick one up for yourself. There'll be an affiliate link. Special thanks to XTEINK for sending the 3 over. I had bought the 4 with my own money because I was excited about it. They sent this over. I'm not being paid for this review, but first and foremost, this thing is sick. And it's at that like price point where it's like might as well, right? Which when you marry that price point of might as well, wouldn't hurt, you know, I just won't eat out for a couple times with my family or whatever, however you want to look at like the monetary side. It's in that price range of like, it wouldn't break the bank probably to buy this. And it's awesome and helpful, right? Like, it's not like you buy it and then regret buying it. And it's not you buy it and regret buying it and it's so expensive that sending it back would help you make money. This is something you can keep around for a while. Go through seasons using it, go through seasons not using it. Anyway, I hope this video is helpful. It's an e-ink reader, and this is the one I've been using. There's no front light. It's super simple. You basically have 4 buttons down here. It looks like 2, but each one of these is kind of like a volume rocker kind of deal. Click, 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 click. This is a back button. This is a select button. This, as you can see, is basically like up and down, like as I click through the menus. It's not a touchscreen, and there's no front light or back light. So reading in light as you would a regular book, right? I think a lot of times we take it, for granted, I guess, our e-ink readers that have lights on them. Like, go back to reading a book. You need a light to read a book. So I've seen tons of people using reading lights for this, little clip-on ones for this. There's like accessories. I'm pretty sure they just released a version of this that does have a light. So if that's like a hindrance to you, they just released one of those. I'm almost 100% positive I saw someone else talking about it with it in their hand. So little prong. We're going to talk about the build here first before we get into the usability and stuff. Form before function here. Prongs are how you charge this one, so it's not USB-C. Up top you have this little reset button, which I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not entirely sure what it does. I think like if it freezes up on you or something, which it hasn't for me over the few weeks I've been using it, it's like a hard reset button, which is nice. On-off button, and then on the XT3 you have a back button and a forward button, so basically page turners, and those also go up and down in the menu, you can see there. So not touchscreen, which I think is a good thing. We'll probably get to that in a second. On the 4 here, you've got your on and off switch here, and then you've got basically forward and backward page turners. Nothing on this side, but you do have USB-C, so if USB-C is a big make or break point for you, this version has that. Same sort of volume rocker button set up here, back, okay, up, down kind of thing. So I bought this one because I think I had seen someone like review it. I think it might have been Jacob, my buddy Jacob Lamb. Go subscribe to his channel. I'll leave a link in the description with his review of this. And I just got this one, and I liked that there was USB-C. We all have USB-Cs laying around. So I also bought this little folio because there's another interesting functionality here that goes into the build quality. This does have magnets. So the thing that's not ideal about the 4 is it lines up with some Android phones, but it doesn't really line up with an iPhone. So I didn't really think I'd be keeping it on the back of my phone. This is an easy pairing, like to just slide that in your pocket even though it's not magnet. But I just went ahead and got like the whole like cover because I just felt that was nice. And then throwing this in your pocket with keys or something sort of protects it a little bit, which is great. But the XT3 has basically the MagSafe magnets perfectly aligned. So let's go ahead and turn that off for a second. So this is nice, and having like a phone case on and then just having this, and it's so slim, as you can see there. So like sliding that in and out of your pocket is fantastic. And I brought my wallet because another option, and I was kind of doing it with this one too, is say you don't want it on your phone. This is also an option. Like it doesn't perfectly align the magnets because they're basically the same magnet layout in here designed to stick to the back of the phone. But if they're offset a little bit, you have this. So that's a nice pairing too. Like if you like just keeping your phone free of anything on it, having that, or any sort of MagSafe wallet for that matter. It also gives a little bit of bulk to it, like to read like this is kind of nice, flipping through the pages. It's just an option there. And if you have maybe even one of those wallets that has like a stand built in, you could like, I don't know, have this be reading and kind of like sitting up or something like that. So functionality, thin, super lightweight. The battery is impressive. Like I don't think I've charged this but one time, and been using it for 2 weeks now. I'm at 96%, 95%, just went down one. I think I took this one to the beach, and I haven't been using this one because I've been using the 3. Let's see what battery looks like here. Go back. 87%, like so much battery. So that sort of explains it, to be honest with you. Other than that, they're, you know, little EPUB readers. So there's not Amazon here, or what's Kindle, sorry. There's not like a proprietary first party book library thing from what I can tell. It does take a little bit of setup. So, you know, just being real here, it comes with an operating system, which is fine. There are built-in ways to like transfer EPUBs over to it wirelessly. You can also just take out, both of these models have a little SD card slot. So you can just put that into your computer, drag and drop EPUB files, start reading. The thing, like if you've only been using Kindle, right? So there's a little bit of a learning curve. If you've only used Kindle, Kindle's made it so easy. You buy the book, it shows up on your Kindle, you start reading. If you were to try and take a Kindle book and put it on here, it's locked. Like that can't be done. This wouldn't be able to read the Kindle version. So what you're going to be looking for are unlocked EPUB books or files, and you can buy those. You can find free books on like Gutenberg, things like the Project Gutenberg. So there's a lot of places you can get EPUBs. It's just a tiny bit more tinkering and less easy as something like Kindle, where you just buy it even on the Kindle and it just shows up immediately, you start reading. But a lot of people have been sort of mad at Kindle because I can't take that book elsewhere. It doesn't feel like I own the book. Kindle owns the book. I can only read it on Kindle devices. So if I pick one of these up, I can't read any of my Kindle books. There are ways around that. I won't get into that. They're probably illegal, but there are ways of getting Kindle books on here. There's just hoops you have to jump through. I'll let you do your research there. The other really cool thing about this is I currently have, what is it called? CrossPoint. So there's a huge community around this. So do a quick Google search of XTEINK and you will quickly find communities of people are building different operating systems for these, right? So the main one is fine. It gets the job done. You have minimal settings, not a beautiful layout, but You could just pick that up, throw some EPUBs on there, and be fine. I just really liked the look of CrossPoint. They have a few different themes. Your settings, there's quite a few more settings here. You can download different fonts. Like, there's just a little bit more customization, and it's not like super hard to figure out and understand. So I can't say better things about this. It's been a complete joy. The main selling point, I think I tried to mention this earlier and like totally blanked, is the fact, like, Books just came out with this guy. It's a little reader, right? And it has a front light, and there's more going on here than just a reader. You can even write up on it and stuff like that. Let me know if you want me to kind of do a little intro review to this. Other e-ink readers, right? Even if they're small, are they pocketable? I think the big thing here, the big selling point here is this. Because next time you're waiting in line at the grocery store, or you're pumping gas, or you're in your car waiting to pick up the kids, instead of doom scrolling, lock your phone, turn it over, and start reading a book. And I think that's sort of self-explanatory in a way. I think what's so cool is, let me hop into Theo of Golden here. Great book recommendation, can't recommend it more. You can adjust font size and things like that, but there's not much on a page, right? There's only so much you can squeeze onto this tiny screen. And while that might annoy some of you, you can read this in like 10 seconds. So even if you're doing 10-second bursts of reading a book, you're still reading a book. And the sense of accomplishment of turning the page keeps you going. There's a certain gamification, there's a tactile, I'm flipping the page, I'm flipping the page, I'm flipping the page, and it feels like you're reading quickly because you're reading through a page quickly because it's so small. There's something to be said for like the bite-sized nature, not just of the size of the device, but the amount of a book that you consume per page is bite-sized. So if I only read 2 of these little pages, right, that's not a ton. It's probably 1% of a chapter, but there's a certain sense of like, I read 2 pages, right? And even as you're in it, even if you have a long time to read, I've been switching between this and my Remarkable Paper Pure for reading EPUBs, reading this book specifically, and like some James Bonds and stuff. If I know I'm going to have like an hour, I'll sit down with the Remarkable, and it's bigger, right? And it's a more sit down kind of thing. If I don't know if I'll have a lot of time, I'll read on this. But this has become so with me all the time and so convenient that I've done like an hour or 2 of reading just on this. Like, it's just always on you, and you always have a book on you. And yes, you could have it on here. You could have Kindle on here, sure. I personally like reading on a screen like this that doesn't hurt my eyes as much. There's no blue light issues here, anything like that. It's natural light bouncing off of this display here. But also, like, this has a billion distractions. So while I'm reading a Kindle book, I get a text from my mom. I get, notifications from Instagram. Like, there's so much to distract you on here. Or I'm like, ooh, let me really quick check my email. Can't do that here, right? So even to sit down on the couch and leave this on the charger and only have this, but then throw it in your pocket, go get, a seltzer from the fridge, come back, pull it out of your pocket, jump right back into a book. Like, portable, easy, affordable, like, it's just enough tech that it's cool and new and fun, and the whole community around it. Like, I just can't say enough good things about XTE Ink. And I think you'll find glowing reviews everywhere across the internet. So this was less of like a deep dive into specs and stuff, and more of like my experience of using it. Great gift for people, right? Like, if your mom's big birthday is gonna 40-year birthday or anniversary or 50 years or something bigger, that maybe spending $70 or something is nice, but like, you give someone so much with this gift. So special thanks to XTE Ink for sending this over for review. Both of these are fantastic options. I'm trying to think who I could best give this to. That's the only thing I'll say is, like, if I were to give this to my mom, I'd have to probably put the books on there for her. Like, I could show her how to do it, but she wouldn't want to mess with it or mess anything up. And so for someone who's not willing to tinker ever so slightly, this probably isn't for them. But for everyone else, this thing is so sick. And I've read more, I listen to audiobooks, but I've actually read more books than I have in a long time because of this thing. And I think there's something to be said for that. So, XTEINK, the X3, the X4, and like I said, I do think they just came out with maybe a little bit thicker front light version of this, but fantastic. That's going to do it for this video. On this channel, we talk about tech that marries form and function. We like tech that improves our lives and looks good while doing so. And we love talking to founders of companies that make products like that. In fact, we're starting a print magazine, a quarterly magazine publication where we interview founders about the blood, sweat, and tears that go into the devices that are worth living with and the products that are worth living with. So if that sounds cool to you, check out the link in the description, formfunction.co, to sign up for a free newsletter, or you can buy the first issue of the magazine, which should be dropping near the end of this month, early August, and we'll be having an issue every quarter. So that's going to do it. Thanks so much. Like this video, enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, watch that video next. I think you're going to love it, and we'll see you all in the next one.